I, like many others, have been sent one of these from Bluetti. It's the PowerOak AC50s power bank. No, I'm not going to run over it. No, I'm going to chuck it off the garage roof. It doesn't power your power tools. Nor do I want to show you how it charges up laptops and mobile phones. That would make a very dull video indeed. However, I do have plans for it. So I'm going to turn the generator on using the mobile app on the phone for the Victor and Venus. There we go. Countdown 5 seconds. There you go. So with everything running upon this fan, so the interior lights are on, the exterior lights are on, the Truma water boiler is on, I'm boiling the water, I've got the radio on, I've got the TV on, it's charging up the ledger batteries, and I could even charge up the starter battery upon the van using this charger. I'll leave a link to that. I even got the microwave on, and at the minute we are drawing around about 2,500 watts, and I'm running all of that off a £600 generator. For £500, what am I going to run off this besides a laptop and some mobile phones? Well, let's find out. Now there is 3 ways you can charge up this PowerOak. When you run hookup, you could use the 240. Quite a big bulky adapter that. When you're driving along, you can use the 12 volts via the plug adapter there, and the third option is via the solar panels you can get from Bluetti. In the box you do get the adapter with the MC4 connections. I won't bother with that, because you could do what I've done. I fitted another 12 volt socket here. That's connected up to the leisure batteries. Obviously, if you've got a decent solar setup upon your roof of your van, the solar will be charging your leisure batteries, whilst your leisure batteries are charging your PowerOak. Even in the middle of February. So for this little experiment, I have made some alterations to the wiring. So from the leisure batteries, it goes to a 100 amp mega fuse. From the mega fuse, a 16mm cable is connected to it, and that is run along the chassis ladder of the van, and it terminates to this fuse board here. Now this fuse board is now powering the new Android Dead unit, the top LED light bar and the bottom LED light bar. So anything Campervan wise is now connected up to the leisure batteries. The base fan wise is just slowly running the van electrics. So the alternator doesn't have much hard work to do, because I'm not running the LED lights off it in a minute. So the starter battery is actually feeding the B2B, and it will also feeding current to the PowerOak, which I estimate to be around about 10 amps. So the way I'm going to charge up the PowerOak, from the starter battery we go up to a MIDI fuse of 100 amps. On the other end of that MIDI fuse is a 16mm cable which runs along the chassis ladder back up to the isolation switch for the B2B. So that is part of the B2B circuit. On the other side of the isolation switch, the 16mm cable carries on, routed round back there, and it feeds the B2B. On the isolation switch I have attached a 6mm cable which is routed along the back there and comes through this wall and into this cupboard here, which feeds a breaker switch which is mounted on the side here, a 15 amp breaker switch. On the other side of this breaker switch is more 6mm cable which feeds the positive side of this auxiliary power socket here. So the alternator is charging up the battery on the van, and it's also charging up the PowerOak once it's plugged into this socket here. Now the earth I've just bonded to the chassis ladder of the van. And in here, on top of the wheel arch housing cover, is the 16 amp socket that the PowerOak will be plugged into to provide feed to this consumer board. Now inside this consumer board we have two RCDs. One is for hookup and one is for the generator. Now to stop these conflicting with each other and to isolate one from the other, it's done by this changeover switch. So at rest, this consumer board is seeing the generator at all times, but once you plug onto hookup, this changeover relay switches over, isolates the generator RCD and energizes the hookup RCD. So the way I've wired this socket up is through the generator RCD. It is a double pole RCD, so obviously we've got neutral there, we've got live in there as well, and it's all earth bonded. So at the top there you go, it's earthed in there, and that buzz bar for the earth is bonded to the chassis of the van as well. So I'm just going to start up the van's engine. There we go. Now obviously the B2B won't kick in straight away because the alternator's got to charge up the starter battery to a certain voltage before the B2B kicks in and starts charging up the leisure batteries. And there we have it. It's just kicked in right now, so it's charging up the leisure batteries now. We can now plug this into the van. So I've got the 12 volt lead here. It plugs into this socket down here, which is fed from the van's starter battery. Plug into the back of it here. Take it around so you can see the screen, and it should start to charge up as it is now. There you go. So we're going up to 106 watts. So it's charging up nicely. So that's 106 watts. I think it's around about 10 amps. So it's getting a good charge rate that. Right, plug in the 240 side of things, plug into the PowerOak and turn on the 240. That should come on. It has done. So the B2B and the hookup battery charger is now working in tandem, and you should see the difference on the screen in the front. As you can see down there, it's drawing 191 watts from the PowerOak and also charging up from the starter battery. So I'm just doing the clamp amp meter reading on this 16mm cable that's feeding the B2B and the PowerOak. So obviously the PowerOak has been charged up, the B2B is running and charging the leisure batteries, and we're drawing around about 39 amps through that 16mm cable. Morning ladies. So could I use the PowerOak to cook an egg? Not bad at all, nice and running. So I've now turned off the engine, switched off the charger, and I want to go out for a few hours. So I wonder if it will keep my fridge cool on 240 instead of using LPG, saving a little bit of gas. Let's find out. Well, on 240, Yeah, 200 watts. That'll give me a good couple of hours. So there you have it. I have tried out different things upon this PowerOak other than mobile phones and laptops. So I suppose the questions are, would I buy one? And is it going to replace the generator? And the answer to those questions is no. Because we're not running the microwave. Doesn't run the true hot water boiler. And to be all honest with you, it doesn't really charge up your leisure batteries. Because there's only a fine sweet spot you can actually do that. Now I'm going to have to wait for the AC load to drop down to around about 300. Otherwise it's going to trip out the PowerOak. And that's towards the end of the charge cycle of those leisure batteries, because anything below 85% it just trips out. It's drawing more wattage from this unit. And that's the Achilles heel of this PowerOak. Only has a 300 watt inverter. Inside here there's only 40 amps of batteries, and for £500 I think I'd rather get another generator. It is designed for mobile phones and laptops. Even when I cook the eggs it trips out twice, but it did cook the eggs. However, I wouldn't say no to a bigger one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.